There comes a moment when you've done everything right. You've worked hard. You've sacrificed. You've stayed up late, woken up early, given your all. And yet, nothing seems to change. You start to wonder, what's the point? You feel the weight pressing on your chest. The whispers in your head saying, maybe it's not meant for you. Maybe you've tried enough. And for a second, you believe them. You're standing at the edge of your dream, but your legs are shaking. You could take one more step, or you could walk away. That's the moment that defines your life. Not the victories, not the celebrations, but the moment you almost quit, because that's where most people stop. But not you. Not yet. Nobody talks about this part. The part where the world goes silent. When your friends stop checking in. When your efforts go unnoticed. When it feels like the universe itself is testing how much you can take. You scream, "Why me?" But there's no answer. Because the test was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. See, every mountain hides its peak behind pain. Every storm hides a sunrise behind chaos. And every dream hides a test behind struggle. The truth is, you're not failing. You're being forged. But then, something happens. You start seeing others succeed. People who didn't work as hard, didn't sacrifice as much, didn't believe as deeply. And that voice inside whispers again, maybe it's time to quit. But listen, that voice isn't your weakness. It's your warning. It's the signal that you're close. Because the moment you're about to give up, that's the moment just before the miracle happens. Close your eyes for a second. Remember the reason you started. Was it just for success? Or was it for something deeper? The people who believed in you. The promises you made to yourself. The child version of you who dreamed without limits. That fire inside you, it's still there. It's small. It's tired. But it's alive. And maybe right now you don't feel strong enough to keep going. But you don't need to be strong. You just need to take one more step. One step when it hurts. One step when you can't see the way. One step when your heart is breaking. Because that's what greatness looks like. Not perfection. Not confidence. But persistence. The world remembers the ones who refused to stop. Who said, "I'll try one more time." Even when no one believed in them. Even when they didn't believe in themselves. And maybe that's you right now. Standing in the dark, tears falling, heart heavy, but still breathing, still trying. Don't let this be the moment you quit. Let it be the moment you rise. Because pain has an expiration date. But quitting, that lasts forever. Every champion was once a beginner who wanted to quit. Every legend was once a dreamer who faced out. And every miracle starts the same way, with someone who kept going just a little longer. So when your hands are trembling, when your hope feels empty, when your faith is fading, remember this. The storm will pass, the night will end, and when it does, you look back and realize that the moment you wanted to quit was the exact moment you were about to be reborn. Because it's not the world that decides your destiny. It's the choice you make when no one's watching. Keep going, even when it hurts, even when it breaks you. Because the pain you feel today is shaping the strength you'll need tomorrow. Don't give up now. You've come too far to stop halfway. You may not see it yet, but every second of struggle is building something inside you. Something unshakable. Something unstoppable. Something extraordinary. This isn't your ending. It's your beginning. But what if the pain doesn't end? What if you keep giving and life keeps taking? That's when you'll face the real test. You've done everything right. You've stayed disciplined. You've prayed. You've planned. You've pushed. But nothing seems to move. You watch others rise while you stay stuck in the same place. You whisper to yourself, "Why does it feel like I'm invisible?" You wake up tired. You work hard, but the results don't show. And that's when the thought sneaks in. Maybe I'm not meant to make it. But what if this pain, this silence, this waiting isn't punishment, but preparation? Every storm goes quiet right before it ends. Every seed stays buried before it grows. And every dream feels impossible right before it happens. Life has a way of testing you through silence. It doesn't tell you when your time will come. It doesn't give you signs or applause. It just watches. It wants to see if you'll keep showing up, even when there's no reason left to. That's the secret nobody tells you. The universe rewards endurance, not excitement. Because excitement fades fast. But endurance? That's what builds legends. And here's the truth that'll sting a little. You don't grow when things go right. You grow when nothing goes your way and you keep fighting anyway. That's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who almost did. Everyone hits a point where they break. A night when you stare at the ceiling and think, I can't do this anymore. Tears fall. Your chest tightens. You start bargaining with yourself. What if I just let it go? Maybe this dream isn't worth it. But deep down, something small whispers back. Yes, it is, because it's not just a dream. It's your calling. It's that voice that's been inside you since you were a kid, telling you that you were made for more. And if you quit now, that voice doesn't die quietly. It haunts you. It follows you into every job you don't love. Every morning you wake up wishing for something more. Every night you feel a hollow ache that says, I was supposed to do something greater. That's the price of quitting. It's not just failure. It's the slow death of the purpose that once made you alive. So don't you dare give up now. If you're breaking, it means you've reached the edge of who you were, and you're about to become who you're meant to be. You see, growth isn't always loud. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides behind pain. You won't know it's working until months later, when suddenly you react differently, when things that used to break, you don't anymore, when you realize you've changed. That's the miracle of persistence. It transforms you quietly, while everyone else thinks you're standing still. You're not failing, you're forming. And one day, someone will look at you and say, wow, how did you do it? And you'll smile, because they'll never understand how many times you almost quit. You don't need to see the whole road to keep walking. You don't need proof that it's working. You just need to believe that your pain is not pointless, because it never is. Every struggle is currency. Every tear is a down payment on your future. And when your time finally comes, when the doors open, when the pieces fall into place, you'll realize the silence was never rejection. It was direction. It was life saying, not yet, you're not ready. But now you are. Now you've bled enough to understand gratitude. Now you've waited enough to understand timing. Now you've failed enough to understand strength. So keep going, because what's coming isn't small. It's everything you've been praying for. But remember, before the light comes the darkest hour. Before the blessing comes the breaking. Before the victory comes a test that almost makes you give up. And in that moment, you'll have to decide, will you surrender to the pain or rise from it? Because in part 3, you'll see what happens to those who refuse to give up. You're standing at the edge, not of a cliff, but of yourself. The old you is behind you, tired, beaten, afraid. The new you is just ahead, hidden behind a wall of pain. You can't see it yet, but this is the place where most people stop. They say, it's too hard. It's taking too long. It's not worth it anymore. And maybe you've said those words too. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. The edge is where everything begins. The pain you're feeling right now isn't a sign to quit. It's proof you're close. So close, you can almost touch the breakthrough. But the question is, will you push through the pain, or will you turn back and live with regret? Every great story has a breaking point. Every hero has a moment when they almost walk away. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. He cried alone in his room, but he came back stronger. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. She didn't quit, she redefined it. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before the light bulb worked. He said, I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. You see the pattern? Every great life is built from broken moments. But then, there's you. You've been fighting battles no one sees, carrying pain no one understands, smiling through storms that would have drowned others. And still, somehow, you're here. You didn't quit. You kept going. That's not weakness. That's greatness in disguise. Because what defines you isn't how many times you fall. But how many times you rise after everyone expects you to stay down? There's a version of you waiting on the other side of this pain. A version that doesn't flinch when life hits. A version that doesn't need approval. A version that's unstoppable. But that version only appears when everything in you says, I can't do this anymore. And you do it anyway. That's how warriors are made. Not in comfort, not in ease, but in moments like this, when your body is tired, your faith is thin, and your heart is breaking, but you keep moving forward. You don't need to sprint. You don't even need to walk fast. You just need to move, because progress is progress. No matter how slow, you think the pain is there to break you, but it's really there to teach you how strong you can be. The fire that burns you is the same fire that forges your strength. The storm that tries to drown you is the same storm that cleans you. And the darkness you're walking through right now, it's not there to blind you. It's there to sharpen your vision. One day, you'll thank this pain. You'll thank this season. You'll look back and say, I needed that. Because this isn't where your story ends. This is where you begin to rise. Every second you keep going is rewriting your future. Every small step forward is declaring, I'm not done yet. Most people give up right before the door opens. They quit one trial too early. They walk away one day before the miracle. But not you. You've come too far. You've cried too much. You've sacrificed too deeply. You're not still here by accident. You're still here because something inside you refuses to die. That's purpose. That's destiny. That's the fire that can't be put out. So when you feel like you can't take another step, remember, that's exactly when you must. Because the pain you're feeling today is the evidence that you're still fighting. And if you're still fighting, you're still winning. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival, not defeat. The person you are becoming is already stronger than the person you were. You just haven't met them yet, but soon you will. Soon you'll wake up and realize the storm didn't destroy you. It built you. And when that happens, you won't recognize yourself, because the person who wanted to quit will be gone. In their place will stand someone unbreakable, someone unshakable, someone who knows how to suffer, how to wait, and how to win. Because pain doesn't make you weaker. It purifies you. It reveals what was already inside. So keep going, even if you have to crawl, even if you have to cry, even if you have to bleed, because the pain will pass. The reward will not. And in the end, you won't just survive this. You'll transform because of it. But this story isn't over yet. Because what happens after you rise is something no one expects. There's a moment when everything changes. Not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because you do. The pain that used to break you now fuels you. The doubts that used to haunt you now drive you. The fear that once held you back now bows before your courage. This is the part of the story most people never reach, because they quit right before this moment. But not you. You kept going. You stayed when it hurt. You stood when everything tried to knock you down. And now, you become the person your past self dreamed of being. The warrior, the survivor, the one who refused to quit. You thought the reward would be success, money, recognition, applause. But when you finally arrive, you realize the real reward was never what you gained. It was who you became. Because the journey didn't just give you strength. It gave you understanding. You learned how to keep your faith when the light went out. You learned how to breathe through the pain. You learned how to trust the process when it made no sense. And that's the secret every fighter discovers. The battle was never against the world. It was always against your limits. See, pain is an enemy. It's a teacher. It shows you where you need to grow. It reveals the parts of you that still believe you're not enough. And once you face that pain, once you stop running from it, you unlock something unstoppable inside you. That's the power of endurance. That's the beauty of not quitting. There's no crowd cheering right now. No spotlight. No dramatic music. Just you, standing quietly with tears in your eyes, realizing you made it through. You faced nights that felt endless, days that broke your heart, moments that made you question your purpose. But you're still here, and that's victory. Not the kind that makes headlines, but the kind that changes souls. Because now, you understand something you didn't before. You don't win by avoiding pain. You win by enduring it, by letting it build you instead of break you. You become the kind of person who can't be easily shaken, who can stand alone and still move forward, who doesn't need motivation to act, because purpose burns inside them. That's what the pain did. It made you unshakable. And that kind of strength, that never fades. Look around. Every person you admire, every name you remember, every hero you've ever heard of, they all share one thing in common. They didn't quit, not because it was easy, but because they believed their pain had a purpose. Nelson Mandela endured 27 years behind bars. When he was released, he didn't seek revenge. He built unity. J.K. Rowling was rejected 12 times before Harry Potter changed the world. Colonel Sanders was turned down over 1,000 times before one person said yes. The lesson is simple. The world doesn't remember the people who quit halfway. It remembers the ones who kept going when no one believed in them. And now, you're one of them. You're the proof that perseverance still works. That faith still matters. That patience still pays. Because you didn't just survive the struggle. You transformed through it. And your story, your scars, your silence, your strength, will become someone else's reason not to quit. That's your legacy. You walked through fire. You've faced out. You've fallen and risen more times than you can count. And still, somehow, you found the strength to keep going. So from this day on, when life gets hard again, and it will, you'll smile because you've been here before. You've already proven you can survive what once broke you. And when that voice whispers again, maybe it's time to quit, you'll laugh and say, not this time. Because now you know the truth. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. And you're not done yet. The world hasn't seen your best. Your greatest chapters haven't been written. Your victory isn't behind you. It's ahead. So keep going. Keep fighting. Keep believing. Because every time you refuse to give up, you are building something bigger than success. You are building you. And now, you are unstoppable. If you're listening right now, and you're on the edge, ready to walk away from your dream, your goal, or yourself, don't. Take one more step. Hold on for one more day. Because what feels like the end is often the beginning in disguise. You are stronger than you think. You are closer than you realize. And your story isn't over. It's just getting started. Keep going. Not because it's easy. Not because it's fair. But because you are meant for more. This is your time. Your moment. Your rise. So go and never quit again.